There have been a few new developments in the long-running scandal involving Hillary Clinton's emails. This was a huge scandal leading up to the presidential election. Just this week, today is September 11th, 2017. Today, Monday, a Maryland judge has just ordered an investigation into three Hillary Clinton lawyers. This is following a complaint that these lawyers it alleges that they helped her delete thousands of official emails that were kept on a private server. This was the key part of this scandal, that she was storing these emails on a private server, using it for official business. These lawyers destroyed these emails, according to this complaint. It's believed it was done in an attempt to destroy key evidence against Clinton in the case. They were trying to protect Hillary Clinton. This is based off a complaint that was brought forward by attorney Ty Clevenger. And this case that's been brought forward to the court, it's been developing for a number of months. He's been pressing the courts to take action against Hillary Clinton and her lawyers for their mishandling of her official emails during her time as Secretary of State. In August of this year, just last month, the FBI attempted to sidestep a Freedom of Information Act request by Clevenger for the release of documents pertaining to the Clinton email investigation. This could have been key evidence in this related court case. The FBI responded by denying the request. They said that they were justified in hiding the Clinton documents due to a lack of public interest in the investigation. And this was just last month. They received a lot of criticism for this response. The Department of the Justice Department responded to this as well. Mr. Clevenger, this is an article from the Washington Times on the same issue. He says that he considered it a victory in recent days when the Justice Department agreed that his case did meet the threshold of intense public interest to justify the release of these documents, which the FBI were trying to withhold. The FBI had denied the open records request into its investigation on grounds that there was not sufficient public interest to overcome Mrs. Clinton's privacy rights. It's very strange. Mrs. Clinton, obviously, Hillary Clinton's been a public figure for decades. You would imagine that the public interest in these documents would far outweigh the expected privacy that you would have from a public figure like Clinton. Mr. Clevenger appealed to the Justice Department, which ruled that it would expedite his request, signifying it accepts his claims of public interest. So that was a small victory in regards to the release of these documents last month. Now, this week, the judge handling the case, Paul F. Harris, he's said that the complaint has merit against Clinton, and this should be enough to prompt further investigation. Maryland's Office of Bar Counsel had originally tried to dismiss the complaint as frivolous, but Judge Harris rejected the dismissal, saying that the complaints against Clinton's lawyers were egregious. They were worth investigating, and the allegations of destroyed evidence further meant that the bar should be required to fully investigate Clinton's attorneys. The attorneys named, the three attorneys named were David E. Kendall, Cheryl D. Mills, and Heather Samuelson. These are some very close Clinton allies. Cheryl Mills, in particular, has a long history with Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton going back to the 90s. There was a notable email exchange, and in regards to this scandal, it's there are a number of ways to interpret, I guess, this exchange, but it was reported later after this email scandal broke, the news that Hillary Clinton was using a private server. People in Hillary Clinton's camp tried to blame Cheryl Mills for this decision. They said that Cheryl Mills okayed the decision to use the private email server, that Hillary wasn't to blame. This was the story that they were coming up with internally. Whether this was a story that was being concocted and they were trying to find a scapegoat, or whether they genuinely believed this at the time, it's unclear. But this was the exchange. This was from the WikiLeaks, from the WikiLeaks documents. This was an email exchange between John Podesta and Neera Tandine, where they speculate that Cheryl Mills was the leaker. The original message from July 25th, 2015. This was from July 24th. Nira opened the exchange saying, do we actually know who told Hillary she could use a private email? And has that person been drawn and quartered? Like, the whole thing is insane, she says to John Podesta. John Podesta, again, it's what his motive is in responding to this, but is unclear. But he makes the suggestion, he plants the idea that it was Cheryl Mills that is solely responsible for the use of this private email server. He says, "Don't you think Cheryl?" In response to Nira asking, "Do we know who told Hillary she could use a private email?" Nira responds to John Podesta. I'm not sure if this is how they typically talk about their colleagues, but she asks John Podesta, I repeat, why hasn't this person been drawn and quartered? I'm reading Wolf Hall. There is something to be said for the power of torture. I mean, she literally they're suggesting to John Podesta that they torture Cheryl Mills, and she seems serious about it. I mean, there's two responses back to back, first asking that she be drawn and quartered, then doubling down on it, and it seems like a serious suggestion of torturing people in their own camp. This is not to absolve Cheryl Mills's Cheryl Mills' role in this scandal, but it does seem like it was a possible story that was being worked out to deflect from Hillary Clinton's guilt in this as well. John Podesta finally responded to the suggestion that they torture Cheryl Mills, saying, at least we now know why Cheryl didn't want her to run. So Cheryl Mills is one of these three lawyers that is set to be investigated in this case, this complaint that was set by Clevenger. We should expect some new developments in that case. I will follow up as more information comes out. Let me know what you think about these most recent developments, what you think may happen with Cheryl Mills in particular. If you could leave a like on this video, it's greatly appreciated, and subscribe to the channel. I will check back shortly. Thanks, everyone.